stage on doctor's orders. He's not supposed to do it too often. Maybe he felt he needed to compete with the Peter Snakebite Wright dance. He stood well out of the way. The Snakebite pogoed his way across the stage, and we're all set for another second round match with the winner of this one taking on Andy Hamilton in tomorrow afternoon's third quarter final. Rod Harrington back with us in commentary, and Andy Hamilton yet again crawling over the line and just doing enough in a real slog with Andy Smith there and winning it 6-5, only averaging 92.3, but got the job done.
Well, I think you'll find over the last several years that that's what Andy Hamilton's good at. You know, never been hardly out of a quarter-final of a major, and that's the reason he never gives up. You know, always pulls something out of the bag, and, you know, it's a good lesson to youngsters that are watching, you know, that three darts can change the whole complex of a game, and it certainly did for Andy Hamilton. But going on these two fellas, I'm just trying to work out who won the darts competition, and if you want to send me a tweet, who do you think won the darts competition there? It would be interesting. I mean, what you say that Justin doing the break dance, you know, to go at that yourself the other night in Spain, but it didn't work.
Yes, from Strictly Come Dancing to Strictly Come Darting. And the number 5 seed Peter Wright, who was in superb form, seeing off Michael Smith in his second round match, beating him 6-1 with 111.29 average. Took just 11 minutes, 2 11 darters in there, a 12 darter. Whereas Justin had slightly easier work over Rauby John Rodriguez, who didn't put in the sort of performance we know that young Austrian can. A 6-2 victory and a 91.7 average that game played yesterday. So Justin's had a bit more time to get ready for this third round match, whereas Peter has already played once on the stage here at the Maritime Hotel today, but still trying to work out who's going to throw first at the start of this match.
Well, the form book and the form line says that Peter Wright is the odds-on favourite here, and Justin, but the pace of Justin Pipe, will it upset Peter Wright? It upsets a lot of players when they're playing him. But I just think that where Peter Wright is in his own head at the moment is this ultra confidence. I don't think that's going to have anything to do with this game. I just think he's going to play his own game. I think Peter Wright is going to lead the scoring power here. And when given the chance, Justin's going to have to take the checkouts. So we said about the James Wade, Adrian Lewis game where a breaker throw is going to be done with over 100 checkout, and we were right on that. And I think that Justin's going to have to take a couple of good shots out to even try and put Peter Wright on the back foot at the moment.
Justin Pipe did reach the final of the first European Tour event of the season at Hildesheim in Germany, just being edged out 6-5 in that final to Gary Anderson. The best we've seen from Peter Wright on the European Tour so far this year was a semi-final appearance in Austria, where he got beaten by Jamie Caven, having seen off Steve Beaton, Wes Newton and Michael Smith on the way to that semi-final. Which of these two men will prevail and make it through to the last 8 here in Dusseldorf this weekend?
Well, not a great start from Justin Pipe. 6 darts without a treble. Peter Wright's not really punished him, although he has got more or less a 3-dart advantage with 2 straight tons. Well, that's a good dart for Justin. Normally you'll find the treble quite easily from there, which he has done, but he's got to find another treble. Just the straight ton is not going to be good enough. It's come down to 57s. Wright still has the advantage in this opening leg.
Both players did make the latter stages of this competition here in Düsseldorf last year. Peter getting knocked out by Michael van Gerwen in the semi-final, having beaten Brendan Dolan and Ian White, while Justin Pipe reached the quarterfinals before being beaten by Simon Whitlock.
121.
that deflection didn't help Justin there, and Peter Wright. He could go 25, or he might go treble 15 or treble 19. Right, I've said it so many times, I do like the 25 with that last dart. Guarantees him 2 darts of the double instead of 1. Admittedly, if he goes and hits the treble 10, he's going to get the 2 darts anyway, but you know, we talk about percentages in this game, and when the standard is so close, you know, sometimes it is that edge on percentage that works for you. Well, he's only going to get the 1 dart.
An early break of throw then for the number 5 seed. Taking out the double 16.
140.
You can see how confident Peter Wright is, because even he's speeded his throw up. You know, and if you're going to speed your throw up, that is because you are ultra confident. You never speed your throw up when you're doubting yourself. Even, you know, getting the hockey and walking away from it, he's brisk.
55.
Yes, having made it into the world's top 16 last year,
85.
was really pushed on, starting off 2014 by making the World Championship final before losing to Michael van Gerwen, making the World Series final in Dubai, making his debut in the Premier League and crediting himself very well in that. And also picked up one of the floor tournaments, the Players' Championship winning Crawley in his first 180. And that indeed was the last time these two players met in that Players' Championship final in Crawley. It was Peter Wright who beat Justin Pipe in that final. But he's on for a possible 11 darter here to go 2-0 up.
85.
Well, Justin, not on the top of his form of late, needs to just step it up a bit. Because against Peter Wright, you know, it's going to be a hard task. We knew the way Peter Wright is playing, it's going to be a tough game for this man. So for a 13 dart leg with the throw,
140.
he's up at 113 average again. Justin Pipe, you know, his 2 legs a little down, but he's on a 70, just under a 70 average, which, you know, he knows. You know, as a player, you're standing up there, you know, you don't think of averages when you're up there, but you know when you're playing pretty poor.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Mike, you know, you've got to find something to...
Well, still not down to a finish, Justin Pipe. And the big score here, well, only 60 for Peter Wright, but he is down to 116 when he comes back.
Well, this is a chance for Justin, you know, but he's got to put in minimum a ton 40, then, you know, he knows Wright's going to take the 116 out. So this is how you get back into a game when you're not playing well. But he hasn't done, you know, he's had a visit without a treble and a crucial time in this leg.
So double 18 for 116 checkouts. Oh, just a single.
Well, we see Andy Hamilton take this out in the previous game to make it 5 legs all, and what a time to pull that. I talk about rabbits out of the hat, that was an absolute cracker out of the hat from Andy Hamilton. Well, Peter Wright doesn't go to double 8.
Oh, well. Making a little bit of a mess of this third leg, Peter Wright, a shake of the head. And this may well be the little kick that Justin Pipe needs. Double 16. for 2-1. Can he sneak it in? Yes, he can.
The third round. Justin Pipe. Full play. Peter from first. Game on.
And that's a leg which Peter Wright will really feel that he should have won to put a bit of daylight between himself and Justin again. But maybe this is where we start seeing the real Justin Pipe.
A lot of his first darts are a long way off the target though, you know, when that's that low it's very hard to use it as a rangefinder. It just doesn't work. Sometimes I think that when you're that far off the treble, it's best to go down to the 19s for an open target. And sometimes, we've said it so often, Mike, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work, you know, bad day at the office, accept it and move on. You know, sometimes and I'm probably a culprit of it myself, you start to analyse things too much. You're a human being, you're not a robot, and it just happens.
Yes, all these guys getting ready for the Bet Victor World Match Play in Blackpool, which starts on the 19th of July. Justin Pipe taking on Michael Smith in the first round. Peter Wright up against Stephen Bunting.
Well, they're both tough games, those.
Definitely.
You know, Michael Smith, we know what he can do on that treble 20. And Stephen Bunting likewise. And here's Peter Wright. Wright will start off the favourite against Bunting, but I don't think you'd get any of my money on that game.
Well, he's mopped that up quite nicely for double 18, which let him down last time he left it. Ending up hitting the single and the single 9.
Well, Justin's relying on Peter missing doubles again, and the way Peter's carrying on hitting the treble, you don't expect it to keep missing doubles. May happen in one leg, but mind you can't put them in a close event. The third one goes in. As I said, you know, because he's hitting the treble 20, he's so good still, he's not going to keep having legs where he's missing the doubles. It just isn't going to happen. You know, Justin has got to start digging in deep and finding this treble 20, otherwise Peter's going to run away with it.
Yes, a huge chasm between the averages of the two players. Peter did end up with an overall average of 111.29, the best we've seen this weekend in his second round match against Michael Smith earlier. Michael Smith is a player we've seen do some damage in tournaments in recent months, but he just never really got a chance to get going with the sort of form Peter Wright was in this afternoon.
Well, it was blistering form, wasn't it? As was a few other players over the last 2 or 3 days. Gary Anderson, last 3 legs he rolled off, I think it was 12-12-14 or something like that, which is exceptional. And against Wes Newton, we kind of knew that sooner or later Gary Anderson was going to find the treble 20. And Wes Newton, that 3 darts, or was it 2? No, 2 darts he had at the double to break the throw to go 3-2 up. And that was a killer.
And Kevin Painter, who's on stage next, he's playing very well this weekend. Only dropped 2 legs so far in wins over Keegan Brown and Steve Beaton. He's taken on the number 8 seed Kim Huybrechts. Well, a 1-6-1 would raise the roof here. Bullseye, and he gets it. And there you say, Rob, a player playing with great confidence. And the way he took out that 161 for a break of throw was absolutely superb.
When I was speaking to Peter Wright last night, he actually said to me, he said, it frightens me how well I can play. And that's quite a statement, isn't it? But it's again about having the confidence in your own ability. And he's absolutely flying high. And that just proves it. You know, he isn't worrying about his opponent. He's just playing that dartboard. You know, it's as if he's playing up there on his own. He hasn't got an opponent. He's just practicing on my own, and I'm firing in legs 15 and under every time. Thank you very much.
Well, a poor visit at the start of this leg from Peter Wright. Wasn't punished by Justin Pipe, but he made amends with that ton 40 there, Wright. And, well, it's just not happening tonight for Justin Pipe, I'm afraid.
In the scoring game, the first dart, it's all about that first dart. If it isn't in the treble, it's got to be in a good position. And Justin's first dart, he just can't get it right. You know, it is hot in here. You know, we're just above the stage here, and we can feel the heat. And down there, it's even hotter under those lights. So, I don't know, it could be the grip. You know, a little bit of sweat in between your finger and the barrel. But you know, these guys are used to them hot. You know, the Sky Sports stages are up at 100 degrees plus, you know, all the time.
Yes, I assume Justin uses some wax or something in his pocket. See him go to his pocket between throws. Just something to try and improve the grip.
Yeah, some people use like a dry wax, some people use chalk, some people just have a hanky in their pocket. On the Pro Tours, you see people like with a towel hanging down the side so they can keep wiping their hands.
Well, he's got time to sort this out, as Peter Wright, and probably just as well. He will be back for double 16. Yes, don't tend to see quite so many players using chalk. The days of Keith Deller, etc., where the board would just be plastered in chalk dust by the end of the game.
Again, that just shows the confidence of Peter Wright. Just steps up there, throws it. Well, it was a Sunday afternoon up the park. Yeah, with Keith Deller, I'm sure he used to put too much on there at times just to mess people around. You know, you could hardly see the treble, the red of the treble. There was so much chalk hitting that board. He used to put so much chalk on it, when the dart hit the board, it used to shoot this chalk dust straight onto the dartboard. You'd never shake hands with Keith Deller before you went on the stage, because your hand would be absolutely covered in chalk. And I used to hate that sort of grip. It was a dry, scratchy grip to me, the chalk.
Well, there you can see a good close-up of Justin Pipe wearing the earplugs, as he so often does on stage, to block out any noise or distractions. And this capacity crowd here in the Maritime Hotel in Dusseldorf have been making plenty of noise this weekend. So a 12 darter and a 13 darter. The best of the finishes for Peter Wright, but 15s and 16s still very respectable, and he's not really been pushed at all by Justin Pipe tonight to need to do anything more than that.
Yes, he has made it very easy for Peter Wright. This is not like Justin. He's normally, his bad games are a lot better than this. It's just one of those days, and you do get frustrated when you can't find it. Your first dart's not going right. You can't work out why sometimes, and that's just the way it is.
60.
You can see, the frustration, and when he's walking up there, he can't work out why he can't find the treble.
Well, that was a rare sloppy visit from Peter Wright there. much better from Pipe. He'll look to try and
122.
leave a decent outshot with Wright knocked down to a finish.
81.
Well, I think Justin will go straight for this because his dart lays down. If he misses it and it's just on the bottom wire, it just gives him a good guide. Or will he go 6? No, he's gone for it. And that is a long way off.
Yes, in the middle of the loop of the 9.
Game Charles Justin Pipe.
Good adjustment with the second dart. A little smile from Justin. Maybe Peter Wright just gone off the boil a little bit in the last few minutes. Justin's still smiling. And well, are we going to see our first maximum from the man from Somerset? No, we're not. Just a ton 40. It's a good start to this 8th leg.
60.
Well, certainly Peter Wright has started to miss that treble the last 2 legs. You know, if Justin can win this leg, all of a sudden he's back in it. Well, we have the averages. Like I said, Justin won't want to see them. Win or lose, he won't want to see the averages.
81.
Wright does have a bit of time on his side in terms of having the advantage of throwing first.
100.
But wouldn't want to start any nerves creeping in. Well, this is a lot better. 10-40 takes him down to Shanghai on the 20s when he comes back. And if Justin can just put some pressure on this, really could do with a ton here.
100.
Well, Shanghai on 20s for the match for Peter Wright. Needs to find the treble, which he's not done, and they're way off. So Justin Pipe comes back to stay in the match, needs the 80. Needs the treble 20 to give himself 2 darts at the tops, but if he this is just a 20. Now the other one wants to be up near the bottom wire to give himself a little bit of a guide. And that's a perfect guide to find the double top from there.
60.
Oh, well, he couldn't do it. And could that be curtains for Justin Pipe? Double top for a 6-2 victory, and the number 5 seed goes through with some ease. Justin Pipe really not on his game tonight, but it is Peter Wright who